بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين عقيبة للمستقيم ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين. أن محمدا هو سيدنا محبوبنا وإنه كان سيد المرسلين صلوات ربي تسليماته عليه. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته للإخوان وحدي في دين. السلام على من اتبع هدى للإخوان وحدي في إفريقيا أوروبا أمريكا ويوروب وست إنديز الكاريبيان وكل مكان. أهلا وسهلا بكم, my dear brothers and sisters. Continue this lesson on the Niyat, and we gave some indications days ago about the Niyat and how we can help to clean it up and what actually means Niyat, the intention. Now we're going to go on the second part of this, and it's the actions are dependent upon the intentions. This is important. Actions are dependent upon the intentions, because here you have the correlation between what's in the heart and the actions. And you remember what Abu Bakr, I've always said this, I love this phrase that he gave, Radiallahu anhu, who said that we cannot judge the heart, but we can judge the actions, because the actions actually speak for the heart. And this is important, brothers and sisters, because we have to have that coordination. I gave other classes about the intention before, and we have to have a complete coordination in order to make it work right with the hands, the heart, the eyes, and with the mind, and so forth. And the actions are dependent upon the intentions is very important in the life of the Muslim, that we have to have the sincerity in everything that we do. Because we're Muslims and we have to please Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and He demands this of us, that we become the best Muslims that we possibly can, and the best human beings and the best example in this Hayati Dunya, or in this worldly life in English. And so this is why the stress has been put on this aspect by all scholars of Islam. And the Prophet ﷺ gave us a very chilling account about insincerity, and I'll get to that inshallah ta'ala. So what are we talking about here? The actions are dependent upon the intentions. Here the meaning ikhlas. You know, one of the last chapters, I don't know which one, 102, 103, they talk about Subhanahu wa Ta'ala explains in the class who He is, and so forth and so on. And we won't get into that right now. But the ikhlas is the purity of faith. But it also has a meaning among our ulama fuqaha, who are inconsistent from every year. That is to free your heart and free your intentions from everything else beside Allah. This is very good, because this gives you a part of the iman that we must have, and also tawheed, because we must have the sense of tawheed, that again, to free our heart and free your intentions from everything else besides Allah Ta'ala. Our intentions should not be influenced by the evil one. It should not be influenced by the others who are enemies to us. We must be free of that, and we must have the purity in our intentions. So that is a segment of our intentions that is downplayed. Most of us just wake up in the morning today as Muslims, and we go about, especially in the West, we go about our business. We got to get in our car, we got to drive. We got a lot of bills to pay. We have turmoil in our homes. We have turmoil outside the house. We have turmoils at our job. And we have a myriad of problems that is known in the Western world. We don't have as much of the problems in the Muslim world, but we do have them, but not as acute as it is in the West. It's off the chart in the West. So it's very difficult for us to think about a class, where you have wholesale debauchery and trickery and corruption, government corruption, and so forth and so on. And you get a daily dose of this by turning on your news, and you see nothing but solemn news, and it's really very, very dreadful. So this is important, again, the ikhlas, the purity of faith. Have that purity, and then to free yourself, free your intention from everything else beside Allah. Then moreover, the sincerity is one's actions, sincerity in one's heart, and sincerity in their actions. Muslims, we must be in everything we do. If we go say we have our brother who we see coming on the street, and we see him, your salam should be that of sincerity. It should not be full with nifaq in English. I mean, in Arabic, nifaq means decoy. It means it's something you're hiding. It's in some ways a form of hypocrisy. But your brother walks down the street and he didn't do anything to you, but you don't like him because he lives in a bigger house 3 or 4 blocks away, or he has a nice job and he makes a lot of money. So you see him, you give him salam, but in your heart, your actions are not actually sincere. So we have to have everything. It's human nature sometimes to have some jealousy. It's only human nature, but we should not go overboard in this matter. It's wrong. And so here we have lessons to strengthen you as far as your intentions go, to help you in everyday life. You're going to make mistakes. Every day we're going to make mistakes. It's just the way we are. We're human beings. This is why we have prayers, we have dua, because we do make mistakes. You can't walk perfect on this earth every single day. There's not one person who ever has done this, cannot, because we're human beings. So we have to be mindful of that, my brothers and sisters, that yes, you make mistakes, but you always try to come back to clean it up. You always try to ask subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you that sincerity. You always ask subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you that strength to be as pure in your intentions as possibly can. Also, ikfa. This is the meaning to conceal one's deeds, one's worship, except for the salat. This could be done in public. It is a great invitational tool to promote Islam, but it is done with sincerity. I'll get to that. Here, in every consensus from all our scholars, our Prophet ﷺ said the same thing. We must conceal our deeds. Meaning, if you are paying the rent for a lady, old lady you found, and she almost had her electricity turned off, or water turned off, and you come to her aid, you don't tell the whole neighborhood what you're doing for her. You're paying because you lose this ajr from subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you lose the sincerity. So you go to pay the lady's rent and her water and electricity bill every month. This is a noble deed, my brothers and sisters, but you should keep that quiet. You know, this deed of Prophet ﷺ talks about what the right hand is doing, the left hand cannot see. I forgot how it goes, something of this nature. But this is how we're supposed to conceal one's deeds. And this is a aspect in our life that is very difficult sometimes, because we're human beings. Again, we may have sort of arrogance. We may go tell some people in a conversation, oh, you know what, I'm paying, Yahya's rent. I'm paying Mohammed's car note. I'm paying Amina's rent as well. And you start telling everybody what you were doing. And this is not what we're supposed to be doing as Muslims. We conceal those deeds. Now, it's no fault to you if this person that you've been assisting had told some other people that Yahya is assisting her. That's no fault to you. You're not blamed for that. As long as you conceal your deeds, this is the best that you can do. Now, except for the salat. The salat is done, of course, we have salats in the house, we have salat in the masjid. But mainly 99.9% of the salat for our sisters is in the house. This is the best place for it. That's where she gets most of her credit. And you know the hadith, for each part of the house, there's a certain amount of credit given to her in her salat. But the best and the most ideal is that in her room, that she has her slot and she gets rewarded big time for that. Here we're talking about could be done in public, because this is one tool that promotes. And you know, there's many people who have watched the Muslims pray in the open, and they've given them this chill, this thing of I want to be among them. Subhanahu wa ta'ala has kind of entered into their heart. So this is a great invitational tool to promote Islam, to go out and pray. And this is thing for how many centuries we've seen this. We've seen Africa too, where we have documents, proof where they come to, the brothers come to the villages, and the villagers see the meticulous about prayer and so forth, and about wudu, and then they come to Islam. So this has been a valuable tool for the Muslims for many centuries, and it continues on today. But it has to be done with sincerity. We have to do it in the sense that we're doing it to please Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. We're not doing it to show off, because if you do it to show off, it's you could lose the merits of your salat because of the intention. Again, we go back to the same thing. If you're leaving the house, you say, you know what, I'm going to go on Fifth Avenue there in New York City, and I'm going to perform my salat in front of one of the most expensive jewelry places in the world, and because I want everybody to see me. You know, that salat is not done in sincerity. It's done in arrogance, and Subhanahu wa Ta'ala doesn't like that. So be very careful of that, my brothers and sisters. The ikhlas is another portion of this, as far as the sincerity. Also in concealing sins. There are not to be revealed. Here we go again. You have the good deeds that you're doing should be concealed. Now we have the sinful deeds that also should be concealed as well. Even when we remorse, we know we went to the store and we stole some candy, and it was done, in private. Nobody saw you do it. You walked out of the store with the candy, but you should not reveal this sin to anybody. So you look at it again, brothers and sisters. You have the concealing of the good deeds, and you have concealing of the sins. They are not to be revealed. So those done in private remain in private. And no Muslim brother is right to spy and reveal what he has seen. Now, this is important because of modern day. I've already talked about this continuously for a couple of weeks now, because this is a serious problem. I'll give you an example what I mean. Say, I'm a modern Muslim, and there's a brother that moved down the street, and I see him to be inclined to Salafiyah. And so I'm angry. I don't like those people. They're Muslims, but I don't care for them. I'm just saying, for instance, this is the Yahya who lived down the street. So he decides, I'm going to see what's happening with this brother. So you walk around his house at nighttime, and you look through the windows to see what he's doing. And then you catch him perhaps in some position of some sort, something that shouldn't be done, and then you go to try to reveal this. This is not what we're supposed to do on our brothers, even if you disagree with them about what they believe in their iman and so forth and so on. You don't do this. So be mindful of that, my brothers and sisters. Be careful. Keep your intentions pure. If you have the intention to spy on him, how could this be a good thing? That's not good. It's not sincere that you go spy on your brother. And then in some of these cases, what if you go to see the brother and you find his wife half naked in the bedroom? She's dressing. You have no right to look in the window and watch her. You have no right, my brothers and sisters. You cannot do this. This is wrong. But we have Muslims today doing, especially in the West, and we have this in the Muslim states as well. They go to spy on the family, and they get a big charge because they look through the window, and they put devices in and they watch their brother and their sister in bedroom or in the bathroom, so forth and so on. We cannot do this. This is totally off limits, and it's haram, big time. Okay, haram. So concealing the sins, we must keep it private. Now, with that said, except in vicious cases like robbery, attempted kidnappings, and assaults. Now, if you walking on the street and you hear something come from your brother's house, it's only natural. You hear screaming, hollering, and you say, what's going on here? So you walk to the side and you see the window is open, so to speak, and you see a robber inside his house. And he's looking through things, and you see the brother's wife, she's screaming at the man. He's trying to take money out of a safe or something. That's now this, you acted sincerely because you heard something, and you looked because you thought something was wrong. That's a difference. You're not there to hurt your brother. You're there to protect your brother, to assist your brother if there's some problem. So you go and you try to figure where the scream is coming from. Maybe you can come to their aid, and you find out that the brother is at work, but his wife is going through some robbery. Attempted kidnappings, the same thing. You see some man storm through a house, you know that's your brother's house. You know your brother's at work. Now you go to investigate. You're sincere in your thoughts because you're there to protect the brother and his family because he's not there. Assaults, etc. You see what I mean? All that type of stuff. But I must caution you on one thing, brothers and sisters. If you know that your brother's at work, in this situation, you cannot do this. If your brother's at work, you see him go, he leaves 6 o'clock every morning. But then you notice every other day there's a car that pulls up and some man comes out and he goes into your brother's house when your brother is at work. You have no right to go spy on that. You cannot. Even though you suspect there's debauchery happening here, you have no right to do it. So be mindful of that. You cannot go in this instance. This is not a sincere act, because here you're trying to find something out in order to do something insincerely, meaning you want to see if this brother that's coming in the house is having relations with your brother's wife. What you going to do with this information? You're going to spread it. You cannot do this. So be mindful of that. But in other cases like robbery, attempted kidnappings, assaults, you see the man coming into the house, you see, and he's got a gun, and so forth and so on. That's not spying. You're there to assist and to help. So that's a big difference. I hope you get that guide. Now, I'm going to give you some really heart-drenching hadiths here about the sincerity in your intentions, brothers and sisters. This is a guide for all of us to measure ourselves on. Our Prophet ﷺ was something else. He was definitely guided by Subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no doubt about that. No doubt in my mind. No doubt. Okay? No doubt whatsoever. He was guided by Subhanahu wa ta'ala because his wisdom is beyond most of what most human beings can conceive. He gave a series of hadiths that are very, very telling, and they're a measure for every generation, for you and me both. And these particular hadiths are all, this is a authentic hadith, okay, sahih. They're all good. They're, and with the chain narration, the whole thing, they're good. These hadiths, and I'll start the first one here. On the authority of Abu Hurairah, radhiyallahu anhu, who said, I heard the messenger of Allah say, the first people against whom judgment will be surrendered. Interesting. So we start off here. A man who died a martyr, he will be brought and Allah will make known to him his favors and he will recognize them. Subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, and what did you do about them? He will say, I fought for you until I died a martyr. Now this is our brother coming before Subhanahu wa ta'ala in Yom Kiyama. And he said he died as a martyr. He says, I fought for you until I died as a martyr. He will say, you have lied. You did fight, but it might be said of you, he is courageous. Again, translation. He's saying, yes, but the intention was insincere. He fought so he could be known as a courageous man, a courageous fighter. See, so his intention for battle was not that vis-a-vis Allah, but for his own benefit. He want people to walk, when he walks down the street, he want people to say, oh, you know, look, there's Yahya, oh man, he's a marvelous fighter. Oh, he's this, he's that. Subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like this. And then here is the kicker. Here's the punishment for this. And he also said, it was said that he will be ordered to be dragged along on his face until he is cast into the hellfire. Brothers and sisters, you see the danger of insincerity in our intentions. Even though this brother was in battle, he died. But he did not die as a martyr because of his intentions. His intentions did not possess the ikhlas. He did not have this purity. He did not. He did it because he wanted to be known as a courageous fighter. And look what Subhanahu wa ta'ala said. Yes, he acknowledged that he died in this fashion, but he called him a liar. So let's measure ourselves, brothers and sisters. This is the first one. Let's measure ourselves and see how we are into these hadiths. Then another will be a man who has studied religious knowledge and has taught it, and who used to recite the Quran. This considers many brothers. He will be brought, and Allah will make known to his favor. He will recognize them. Subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, and what did you do about them? He would say, I studied religious knowledge. This is the brother who died now. Yom Qiyamah. He had received a lot of Islamic knowledge. I studied religious knowledge, and I taught it, and I recited the Quran for your sake. Fi sabili Allah. That's what he was trying to say here. Subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, you have lied. You did but study religious knowledge that it might be said of you, he is learned. Or you recited the Quran that it might be said of you, he's a reciter. Translation. Yes, he gained knowledge, but he said, look, I'm a graduate of University of Medina, prestigious Islamic university, one of the most prestigious Islamic universities we have in this world. He goes to brag about it. And we see this many times on YouTube, and we see brothers, they'll show you pictures of their degree, they'll show you that they graduate from these areas. Or like from Azhar in Egypt or something like that, or the University of Medina or something. They'll show who they were, and they'll show you all of the books and everything else that they possess. And then part of it, you recited the Quran. We have those who have memorized the Quran, and they want to show that they learned under a certain imam or a certain scholar of Islam. And then they want to have this, I'm Hafiz in Quran. And they go out to the Medina and they tell everybody they're Hafiz. And so this way he is asking, he wants to be known through the community as a reciter. Now, what's the punishment? So it was said, then he will be ordered to be dragged along his face until he is cast into the hellfire. Brothers and sisters, this is a very, very serious hadith talking about these two issues. You have the first man who died as a martyr in battle. You have the second man who's a religious scholar. And this goes for all, especially students of knowledge, that we have to keep our sincerity pure. And it is said that he will order to be dragged along his face until he is cast into hellfire. That's a serious, serious punishment for the students of knowledge and our scholars and so forth, the ulama, fuqaha. One of the things, I'll give you some advice on this particular hadith, my brothers and sisters, how you can kind of get around some things, because we're human beings. We all want accolades. There's no human being that doesn't want recognition of some sort. But as a Muslim, you must be very careful, because we're not like everybody else. So you see Subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like that. He doesn't like this, any bits of arrogance. He doesn't like it. He don't like that from a Muslim. So my advice is this, use the advantage that we have today. Most black men cannot go to Azhar. They won't allow you in there. And plus, you don't have the language capabilities and so forth and so on. It's not easy to go to Azhar because it's dealt in Arabic. The University of Medina is Arabic as well, and University of Mecca is also very, very, Arabic, period. So it counts out majority of African Americans. But we do have some qualified, but they can't because of the draconian laws of the United States that block these brothers from going. And in Sudan, they used to have the imam schools and some other Islamic institutions, and African Americans were going there 10, 15, 20 years ago to get trained and come back. And there was Arabic as well. But that use the virtual teachings, my brothers and sisters. That way you're inside your house. You learn from a Sheikh Islam or a student of knowledge. He's given they're giving you a lesson, say, on the Sharia Islamiyah. Some of these courses like a year, some are 2 years. You learn there. You're in the privacy of your house. You don't go out on the street to tell everybody, hey, I'm learning this from Muhammad and Sheikh Muhammad there in Saudi Arabia. No, you stay in private and you take that knowledge that you get. I did that. I took a lot of these courses like this in the privacy of my home, because since I couldn't go out to go do it, plus I didn't want it known what I was learning. I didn't want that. I didn't want that known. And so at that time, I and I still now and then take it, because you should always learn. I was in something the other day. I saw one of our brothers in Facebook with this one Sheikh, and he was giving a beautiful class. I'm always trying to learn, because you can always learn. You can never stop until the day you learn. You can always learn something from everybody. So this is why I comb the net to find the scholars and so forth and so on, and even other brothers, and you can learn something. Sometimes you forget about something and you just got to refresh your course. This is beautiful. This is Islam, because you can't retain everything. You're going to forget some things. So I give you that advice to kind of help on this situation here. Or you get books and you begin to read these books in earnest. And then you begin to teach yourself in the best way you possibly can. We know the best teaching is when you have a Sheikh Islam, or you have a student of knowledge, or a Mufakir, or the intellectuals, and they're giving you face-to-face and so forth. Or we know the best of that is even the Malazima system, which is almost destroyed in Islam now. Malazima system, where you go actually live with the Sheikh Islam. You live in his house, and everything is geared around the Islamic world, and you there and you learn of the Sheikh and so forth and so on. This is a beautiful way of gaining knowledge. Very difficult nowadays with all the terrorism and the draconian laws against our brothers. You got to be very careful. And then here's the other one. He'll be a man whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made rich, and to whom he had given all kinds of wealth. We've seen that many times, especially our brothers, African Americans, and Black Africans as well, and some brothers in Europe. We've seen this many times. He'll be brought, and Allah will make, subhanahu wa ta'ala will make known to his favor. He will recognize them. Subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, and what did you do about them? He will say, I left no path untrodden in which you like money and to be spent without spending in the sake of your sake. So in other words, he said he took this wealth that he had and he spent it fi sabili Allah. That's what he was saying. Now here's a man that came up with some riches in business. He became very wealthy from his business transaction. But what did he do with his money? Did he spend it on the orphans? Did he spend it in charity? Did he hide his money? Did he help poor people in the neighborhood? Did he go help the homeless? Did he give money to homeless organizations? Did he give money to the Islamic organizations? Did he do this in private? These are questions that we have to ask about the man who gains the wealth, the Muslim who gains the wealth. And what did he do with it? Okay, no one has said that he cannot take his money and buy a car or buy a nice, beautiful home. We got hadiths about that. And according to your status, you should have something nice because it is, again, a dawah, invitation for people. You don't want the brothers coming to your house and your house look like like you're out somewhere and your house is tore up. You don't want that. You want to present the best picture you possibly can. Then he says he will say, subhanahu wa ta'ala will say to him, you have lied. You did so that you might be said of you, he is open-handed, and so it was said. Now, open-handed in this regard, meaning the brother did give. And the community know he gave because he made sure the community know he was given to everybody. This insincerity is not what subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. He would have claimed his wealth by, yes, going to the orphanage or even sending it by check. Because we have all modern technology, or by PayPal or something like this, and he sent it to the orphanage, or he sent to an Islamic organization, which we have many now, who feed the poor and the people downtrodden and so forth like this. We have now organizations where you help brothers who've been convicted, unfairly in the court system. We have all kind of stuff now that you can send money to, and they're worthy causes and whatnot. But you don't do this in the open. Again, you use the technology. You sit here in your house, you make out your checks, and you send it. Nobody can see what you're doing. No one knows that you spent $5,000 every month on varieties of charities. So why would you reveal that? Subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving these lessons to us, and our prophet described these lessons, what Subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and what he will do to us who do these things. So I give you this advice, my brothers and sisters, this hard-hitting. It may be mundane to many people, but this Islamic lessons, and this here has to do with your faith, your iman, and your tawheed as well. So you should be mindful of that, and to look at those hadiths again. And we all should measure ourselves on these hadiths, especially the students of knowledge in particular, people like me. We have to be very mindful of this because we're human beings. We have to be very, very mindful that this could be something that, that we have done wrong. And of course, we don't want this to be us. And then, of course, he was ordered, dragged along his face until he is cast into hellfire. So I gave you 3 pertinent cases, brothers and sisters, we all should measure ourselves on. All of us. And then be mindful of these hadiths about what subhanahu wa ta'ala feels about ikhlas. We must have that. We must have that sincerity, brothers and sisters, in our intentions. And not to be boastful and arrogant and to go out and to the community and explain what we are doing. Our sins that we do in private, that was made private by subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should keep it in private. Don't reveal it. If we don't go to spy on our brother to go to spread what he has been doing in private, you go by his window, you catch him drinking wine every night when he come home. Why you do that? For what reason? What is your sincerity? You yourself will go to the hellfire for this, for going after your brother, looking at him and his wife and his kids and family and so forth and so on. And you go to his bedroom and you watch in there, you see him and his wife get ready to go to bed, you see her undressed. What is that? See, so that's insincerity. All this type of thing here, you should see subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like it, and he's given and rectified, and he told you what the punishment is going to be. Now I'm going to get to the last one, what affects us all, really affects us. There is a serious hadith, authentic, about a conversation that takes place between the Prophet and some of the Sahaba, and about discussion about the Dajjal. I don't know anybody, you guys know the Dajjal, you should know about him. He's going to come in a time or period where he's known as the Antichrist in the Christian lore, but we know him as Dajjal, and he will come with a whole band of maniacs, and they will be murdering, and he will be doing acts across the world to convince you that he is the chosen one, and people will begin to follow him. And this discussion came about this, and then this discussion came where they talked about a particular thing. I had some classes on things like this, and it wasn't received very well. Many brothers and sisters didn't want to watch it because they felt perhaps I might have been picking on them. But this is Islamic education, brothers and sisters. We don't take what we feel is good for us, or we feel good in it, and then we discard the ones we don't, because we should learn, and we should all combat all these forms of arrogance and shirk. This type of shirk here, the hidden polytheism, our prophet talked about this. And he said that it's like a man who gets up to offer salat and tries to improve his salat because he sees someone looking at him. I've seen this in the masjid before. I've seen people come in and they're looking, and suddenly the people will watch, and then you see them start to do things, and you always notice that something is wrong because they begin to do innovations, because their intentions is wrong. But we're human beings. We have to be sincere when we come to the masjid, you men in particular. You come to the masjid, you come in, yes, if you have the sincerity, if you come into the masjid and you are student knowledge, or you are a scholar, or any of this type of thing, and you come into a masjid, maybe where you live, the people are not up to your speed, and you see many innovations. I see this a lot. You see many innovations in salat. So you go in and you're hoping that the people watch you in your salat, not as a tool of arrogance, but to teach. This is a difference. This is a difference, brothers and sisters. But if you're going in there to show off, that's what we get. That's why we have this fine line between the arrogance, okay, the sincerity and insincerity. So the brother comes in and he wants to show everybody. And I've seen this too, where you have these brothers dressed in loud clothing, or clothing that's not right, and they come in and I mean, the whole place is in buzz. He come in and then he does all kind of stuff in his salat. A lot of times you see innovations in it, because he comes in with the bad intentions, and it's showing. But we have others who come in, maybe they come to a masjid and they see a lot of bid'ah and so forth. And so they say, well, look, I hope the brothers watch me. I'm gonna show you how they're supposed to pray, and so forth and so on. That's a different situation. That Nia is correct in that regard. And so this is some of the things here in this particular class, brothers and sisters. This is a short lesson, shorter than most of the ones I give. But I wanted to point out this particular avenue about the sincerity of our intentions. And in Islam, we have to be always mindful of that. And not how can I say, not to have something that wrong and something that is not explained. And again, brothers and sisters, it may be mundane for a lot of people, but it affects everybody. Don't get caught in situations that we talked about today. Be very mindful of this. I'm giving you this as a warner to help you, my brothers and sisters, so you can see this. This particular part of the intention is called innama amalun bil niyat. Okay, this is again the actions. The actions are dependent upon the actions are dependent upon the intentions. So this is a particular one, and I'm hoping it's hard hitting and got your attention. And my brothers and sisters, again, those who subscribe to me, thank you for subscribing. And those who spread my videos, I'm very happy and greatly appreciate this. Jazakallah khairan. Barakallah fiqh, brothers and sisters who do this and whatnot, because I try to give you the content that will help you and to develop your Islam and whatnot like this. This is not for everybody, I understand that. But I'm trying to please Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and I want to help my brothers and sisters, especially in the United States, in particular, where my community is, where I was born. So I tried to help out, and I give you this in order for you to discern and to help you. So my brothers and sisters, this is a short class, but a hard-hitting class. And again, you go over those hadiths and be mindful, brothers and sisters, especially you brothers when you go to the masjid as well. When you are going out and those are brothers who have money, be sure that your intentions are clear. Be mindful of that, brothers and sisters. Please be mindful of that what we do. When we do go and give charity, we don't spread that. We do this in private so our money stays pure and cleansed and purified. So we give in charity in private. We go help somebody, we help them in private. It's no fault to you again if that person comes to say, hey, guess what? Mina, she did this, or Saeed, he did this for me, and so forth. You can't stop that. That person taught, but you don't go to spread what you're doing for this lady and her husband and her family. You don't need to spread that. Then your acts now become insincere. So again, the actions are dependent upon the intentions. Boy, that is so true, brothers and sisters. So I will have some more of these classes here, inshallah ta'ala, and I'm hoping, again, brothers, that this was educational for you, and that you will, pick it up and think about this and whatnot, and take it in stride. And again, our brothers and sisters who are helping me, subscribing me, and like my content, I really appreciate it very, very much, and so forth. So I'll leave you here, my brothers and sisters, with the beautiful words of Jannah. Assalamu alaikum. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.